Morello's Soda Shop on Broadway and 72nd Street. Not the famous part of Broadway, not the theaters and the lights. This is 10 blocks north. Working-class neighborhood, apartment buildings with fire escapes, delis on corners, kids playing stickball in the street. The soda shop is narrow, 20 feet deep, black and white checkered floor, counter on the left with chrome stools, red vinyl seats, booths along the right wall, smell of vanilla syrup and coffee, radio playing somewhere in back, big band music, Tommy Dorsey maybe. The war ended 8 months ago. Everyone's trying to remember what normal feels like. Back corner of the shop, squeezed between the last booth and the bathroom door, a ping pong table, not regulation size, smaller, maybe 7 feet long, green painted plywood for surface, net made from string tied between two nails. The table wobbles when you hit hard, one leg shorter than the others. Marty Reisman stands at one end, 16 years old, 5'6", skinny, maybe 110, 115, all elbows and knees, dark hair falling across his forehead, wearing dungarees rolled at the cuffs, white t-shirt, scuffed Ked sneakers, no socks. Can't afford to waste socks on every day. In his right hand, a ping pong paddle, cheap one. Bought it at Woolworth's for 35 cents. Sandpaper glued to both sides. The sandpaper is wearing smooth in the center where he grips. He's had this paddle for 3 months. Plays every day after school. Sometimes skips last period to get here early. Get the table before other kids. Across from him, Tommy Rizzo, also 16. Marty's classmate at George Washington High School. Bigger kid, football player build, not smart enough for football but has the body. Wearing similar clothes, different brand of broke, same neighborhood poverty, they're playing for a quarter. 25 cents. Marty has 4 quarters in his pocket, his lunch money for the week, supposed to last until Friday. It's Tuesday. If he loses this quarter, he's down to 3. That's not enough, but he's not going to lose. The game is 9-7. Marty's favor, first to 11 wins, his serve. He tosses the ball, not high, just enough, hits it with side spin. The ball curves left. Tommy swings, misses, 9-8. Small crowd watching. 5 kids from school, couple of regular customers, old man who comes in every day for coffee, sits in the booth reading the daily news, watching over his paper now, quiet. Everyone's quiet when Marty plays. They've learned. He's different. Faster, sees things. 10-8, Marty wins the point. 11-8, game over. Tommy slams his paddle on the table, wobbles. Everyone holds breath. Table doesn't collapse. Tommy pulls a quarter from his pocket, slaps it on the table. Marty takes it, doesn't gloat, just pockets the money. 5th quarter he's won today, started with 4, now has 8, $2. That's lunch for 2 weeks if he's careful. Again, Tommy says. Can't, Marty says. Gotta get home. Ma needs me to watch my brother. You're just scared to lose it back, Marty shrugs. Not scared, just smart. Knows when to walk away. That's the difference between him and Tommy. Tommy always wants one more game. Always thinks next time he'll win. Never does. Marty's picking up his paddle when the door opens. Man walks in, mid-40s, expensive suit, navy blue, perfect fit, white shirt, silk tie, gold tie clip, shoes polished so bright they catch the afternoon light coming through the window. Hair slicked back, clean shave, smells like cologne. Not the cheap kind, the kind that comes in glass bottles from department stores. Everyone notices. You don't see men dressed like that in Morello's. This is a place for working people, factory workers, shop clerks, kids with pocket change, not men in suits that cost more than Marty's father makes in a month. The man walks to the counter, orders coffee, black. His voice is smooth, educated, not neighborhood accent, Manhattan accent, but different, upper class. The kind of voice that's used to being listened to. While he waits for coffee, his eyes scan the shop. Land on the ping pong table. On Marty. The man watches. Marty feels it. The weight of being studied, assessed, valued. The man pays for his coffee. Doesn't sit. Walks to the back, stops near the ping pong table, stands there, sipping, watching, not saying anything. Just present. Tommy looks at the man, looks at Marty. You want another game or not? Marty hesitates. Something about the man watching makes him nervous, but also curious. Yeah, one more. They play. Marty wins, 11-6, easy. Tommy's getting frustrated, hitting wild, no control, predictable. The man sets his coffee down on the edge of the table. Both boys look at him. You're good, the man says to Marty. Not a question, statement. Thanks. How long you been playing? Couple years. Where'd you learn? Here, in Settlement House on Amsterdam. The man nods. You always play for quarters? Marty tenses. Is this a cop? Undercover? Gambling's illegal. Technically, nobody enforces it for kids playing ping pong for lunch money. But you never know. Sometimes, Marty says carefully. The man smiles, not threatening, amused. Relax, kid. I'm not a cop. I'm just a man who appreciates talent when I see it. He pulls out his wallet. Leather, fat, opens it. Marty sees bills, lots of bills, 20s, 50s, more money than Marty's seen in one place outside a bank. The man pulls out a 50, puts it on the table. I'll play you, the man says. $50, one game, first to 15. Silence. Complete silence. The radio keeps playing, but nobody hears it. The old man's newspaper stops rustling. Tommy's mouth hangs open. Marty stares at the 50. $50. That's more than his father makes in a week. His father works construction, 10 hours a day, 6 days a week. Comes home with paint under his fingernails and cement dust in his lungs. Makes $42 a week. And this man is putting 50 on a ping pong table like it's nothing. I don't have $50, Marty says quietly. The man smiles. Then what do you have? Marty reaches in his pocket, pulls out his quarters, 8 of them. $2. The man looks at the quarters, looks at Marty. That all? Yes, sir. What's your name? Marty Reisman. Marty Reisman. The man says it slowly, testing it. I'm Eddie Russo. He picks up the 50. Marty's chest loosens. Of course, there's no game. Man's just having fun, playing with the poor kid, getting ready to laugh. But Eddie doesn't put the 50 back in his wallet. He holds it. Here's what we'll do, Marty. We play one game. You win, you get the 50. I win, I get your $2. But more important, when I win, you work for me. Run errands, deliver packages, whatever I need. 2 hours a day after school for 6 months. Marty's brain tries to process this. The odds are insane. $2 versus 50. But the real cost is 6 months of work, 6 months of his life. Doing what? Running errands for who? A man in an expensive suit who hangs around soda shops offering kids strange bets. What kind of packages? Marty asks. Eddie smiles wider. Smart question. Nothing illegal, nothing dangerous, just packages, deliveries, between my associates, businessmen, like being a messenger boy. You know what messenger boys do? Marty nods. Seen them in Midtown, kids on bicycles delivering documents between offices. Same thing, Eddie says, except my offices are different, understand? Marty doesn't fully understand, but he knows enough. Eddie's not a legitimate businessman, not the kind with an office in a skyscraper. He's something else. Something connected to the part of the city that operates in shadows. Gambling, maybe other things. But $50. $50 is school clothes for the year. Is paying down what his family owes at the grocer? Is his mother not having to work double shifts at the laundry for 3 months? Is breathing room? And if I win, Marty asks, you get the 50. Walk away. Never see me again if you don't want. Marty looks at his paddle. Cheap Woolworth's paddle with worn sandpaper. Looks at Eddie's hands, clean, manicured. These are not hands that play ping pong regularly, but they're steady, confident. This could be a trap, could be hustling him, could be better than he looks, but Marty's 16, and $50 is everything. Okay, Marty says. Eddie grins. Excellent, let's play. He takes off his suit jacket, hands it to Tommy. Hold this, don't wrinkle it. Rolls up his sleeves. The movements are practiced. This is not his first time doing this. Eddie pulls a paddle from his coat pocket, custom made, wood handle, real rubber on both sides, red and black. tournament quality. The kind that costs $8, $10 maybe. Marty's stomach drops. This man came prepared, came here knowing he'd play, came here looking for someone. They take positions. Marty serves first. He loses the point. Eddie's return is fast, controlled, placed perfectly to Marty's weak side, 1-0. Eddie, they trade points. Eddie wins his serves. Marty wins his. The score climbs 6-6, 7-7, 8-8. Marty's sweating, not from exertion, from pressure. Every point matters. Every point is worth more than he's ever played for. His hands shake slightly between points. He wipes them on his dungarees. Eddie is calm, smiling, enjoying this. For him, this is entertainment. For Marty, this is survival. 9-9. Next point decides momentum. Marty's serve. He tosses, hits with his best side spin. Eddie reads it, returns hard, cross court. Marty scrambles, gets there, returns. Eddie smashes, Marty dives, paddle extends, connects. Ball floats back, high, weak. Eddie sets up, kills it, 10-9. Eddie. Marty's chest tightens, 4 points from losing, 4 points from 6 months of servitude, from packages he doesn't want to think about, from being owned by a man he met 20 minutes ago. Eddie serves. Fast. Marty barely sees it. Swings late, misses, 11-9. Eddie serves again. This time, Marty's ready. Returns. They rally, 17 strokes. Marty wins the point, 11-10. The game continues. Marty claws back. 12-12, then 13-13, then 14-14. 1 point from victory or defeat. Eddie's serve. The room is dead silent. Marty can hear his own heartbeat, can hear the clock on the wall ticking. Eddie serves. Marty returns. They rally back and forth, neither giving ground. Marty's legs burn, arms hurt. He's been playing all afternoon. Eddie's fresh, but Eddie's older, slower. Eddie hits wide. Marty reaches, returns. Eddie has to run, gets there, returns, but it's high, defensive. Marty sees the opening, steps in, smashes. Eddie dives, misses. 15-14. Marty wins. The soda shop erupts. Tommy yells. The other kids cheer. The old man claps once, slow, deliberate, approving. Marty stands there, paddle in hand, breathing hard. Can't quite believe it. Eddie straightens, smiling, not upset, impressed. He walks to the table, picks up the 50, hands it to Marty. You earned it, kid. Marty takes it. The bill is crisp, new, feels illegal just holding it. Eddie puts on his jacket, smooth, practiced. You're talented, real talented. You could make money doing this, real money. Not quarters, not 50s, hundreds, thousands. Marty says nothing, just holds the 50. You know where to find me if you want to learn how, Eddie says. He pulls a card from his pocket. Plain white card. No business name, just a phone number, handwritten. Call if you're interested. He leaves. Door closes. Bell above it rings. Then silence. Tommy grabs Marty's shoulder. You did it. You actually did it. Marty looks at the 50, at the card, at his cheap paddle. He goes home, walks the 10 blocks to his family's apartment, 3rd floor walk up, 4 rooms for 6 people. Marty, his parents, 2 younger brothers, his grandmother. They make it work. Barely. His mother's in the kitchen, small woman, tired eyes, hands red from laundry chemicals. She works at a commercial laundry on Amsterdam, 8 hours a day, standing, washing, folding, comes home smelling like bleach and soap. Marty, you're late. I needed you to... She stops, sees his face. What happened? He pulls out the 50, puts it on the table. She stares. Where did you get this? I won it, playing ping pong. You won $50 playing ping pong. Yes, ma'am. She sits down, slowly, like her legs stopped working. Picks up the bill, looks at it, looks at Marty. Her eyes fill with tears. We can pay Mr. Goldstein, she says quietly. Mr. Goldstein owns the grocery. They owe him $37, 3 months of running tabs. We can pay rent. We can... She stops. Can't finish. Just cries. Marty watches his mother cry over $50, watches her hold it like it's sacred, and something shifts inside him, something fundamental, this feeling, this power, the ability to change his mother's life with one game, one bet, one win. He wants this feeling again. 3 days later, he calls the number on the card. Eddie answers, "I was hoping you'd call." 6 months later, Marty's not in school anymore. Dropped out, works for Eddie full-time, running packages, learning the circuit, underground clubs, back rooms, places where men bet serious money on ping pong, on pool, on cards, on anything. Marty plays in these places, wins some, loses some, learns the difference between gambling and hustling, learns how to read people, how to manage bets, how to quit when ahead, how to lose strategically. He makes money, more than his father, more than he ever imagined. But he can't stop, even when he wants to, even when he's ahead. There's always one more game, one more bet, one more chance to feel what he felt that day in Morello's, that power, that control, that moment when $50 changed everything. 20 years later, he's still playing, still chasing. Never enough, never satisfied. Because the first win is always the strongest, the one that teaches you that luck exists, that the world can change in 15 points, that everything you need is just one game away. And that lesson, that beautiful, terrible lesson, is the one that ruins you. Marty Reisman won $50 when he was 16. He spent the next 60 years trying to win it again. Not the money, the feeling. And the feeling never came back the same way. Because the first time you taste power, you're innocent. You believe it's about skill, about talent, about deserving it. Every time after you know the truth, it's about luck, about timing, about being in the right place when someone with money wants entertainment. And once you know that, once you understand that you're not in control, that you're just a performer in someone else's game, the wins stop feeling like wins. They feel like delays, pauses before the next loss. Marty won that day in Morello's soda shop, but he lost something bigger, something he didn't know he had until it was gone. The ability to walk away. Because temporary power feels like permanent change. And by the time you realize it's not, you've already built your whole life around chasing it. $50 bought 6 decades of searching. The price was higher than he knew.